Hey viewers, welcome to Chunner Checks It Out. My name's Chunner, and in this video, I'm going to be watching Takopi's Original Sin, Episode 6. In the last episode, we found that Takopi went through the time multiple times and kept getting their memory erased. Let's see what's going to happen in the final episode, and if Takopi's going to have to choose Shizuka or Marina. Yo. Let's check it out. This program contains depictions of suicidal behavior that may be upsetting to some viewers. If you or someone you know needs help, visit crisishelpresources.com. Who was arguing there? Is that Shizuka's parents?
いなくならないお父さん、おいしい給食、意地悪のない学校。
I wished for a fun school without bullies. Does that mean that Shizuka was getting bullied even before her parents got divorced?
だからマリナちゃんをハッピーにするため地球に戻ったのに、久世静香のハッピーじゃないんだっぴ。
何言ってるかわかんねえよ。
Why did Takopi see 3 different people each time Takopi went back? The first time, I guess he saw Marina, and Marina asked Takopi to kill Shizuka. And the second time that Takopi went back, Takopi lost their memories, and Takopi saw that Marina was bullying Shizuka, and Shizuka didn't make it. And so Takopi used the happy picture to try and change that past. And in that timeline, Takopi kills Marina. And then it seems like Takopi figures out what happens during that timeline. And Takopi goes back again. And now this time, Takopi is meeting Azuma for the first time. Very strange.
僕はもう久世さんには会えない。お前と会うのもこれで最後だ。
Does Azuma remember Takopi?
今いろいろ大変なんだよ。お母さんショックで寝込んじゃってさ。
My mother's bedridden due to stress. So I'm assuming Takopi went back to kind of in general the first timeline when we open up with episode 1, but now the mom is sick, and she seems to be the one running the clinic. I'm still not sure what Azuma's dad does, if the dad works with the mom in the clinic, or does he have a different occupation?
お父さんが戻ってきてくれてるけど、病院どうなるかもわかんないし。
もう会えないなんて悲しいっぴ。東くんは僕と遊ぶの楽しくなかったっぴ。静香ちゃんは悪い子で痛いことするし、マリナちゃんを悲しませて、でも優しくてパンをくれて、なんで悪い子なのになんでいい子なのか。
そりゃそうだろ。そりゃいいとこも悪いとこもあるだろ。
People can be good and bad at the same time. She doesn't do her homework. Is it because she's having problems at home? Because her mom and dad got divorced and now she's living with the mom whose job is being an escort, and so she's not home at night and they're just barely getting by. It doesn't seem like Shizuka is hungry, but is she not hungry because she's feeling depression?
3人で遊べて楽しかった。生まれて初めてあんな学校が楽しみに思えた。それは友達だったからだ。お前は能天気でバカでゴミだけど優しい。使えないどうしようもない能なしで役立たずの僕に。
I'm really having a hard time in the show trying to figure out where we are in time. Because currently, as I can tell, there's 3 timelines, and I'm not sure which timeline we're in. And on top of even figuring out which timeline we're in, what year in time we're in on each different timeline. I mean, I must be too stupid to figure it out.
ありがとうって言いに来たんだ。これお前の道具なんだろ。
So it seems like Marina here in this timeline is not dead, and Shizuka's not dead because Takopi didn't kill Marina with the happy camera, and at some point in time Takopi gave Azuma the happy camera.
助けてあげようなんて思うのが違ったんだ。僕はそれしかできなかったけど。
Yeah, I have no idea where we are.
最後のバイト代で
But his final paycheck from work, so
バイトクビになったから。
oh, he got fired. But Junior spent his money to buy his brother
大学
glasses.
行けないかもしれない。
Why not? He's still getting perfect grades, isn't he? He's in the top of the country.
東くん
Tell that version of me,
兄貴と喧嘩
don't be afraid to have fights with your big bro. I feel like, I'm not sure, but I feel like definitely for me, there are some things that I wish I knew back in my previous self. And obviously, if you could go back to your previous life, then you wouldn't have the life you have now because you have future knowledge. But you've always thought, I feel like everyone's, or at least I've definitely thought at some points in time, what would I, if I did certain things differently, how my life would turn out. And it would definitely be different than what I'm experiencing now. And you never know if that's going to be for better or for worse for you, but you have to make the best of your life that you have now. Voices of relief as the two missing girls found safe. A girl behind the incident. Was it done by a mother and daughter after being abandoned? So this is yet another timeline of, on this timeline when Takopi spends time with Azuma and none of them die? Two young girls missing, which could mean that you're still in the original episode 1 timeline, but also, or the episode 2 timeline. I guess it's still the episode 1 timeline because you went back with the happy camera. And when you went back, although Marina still didn't make it in that timeline, so now they were found. I don't know.
大タピ
To me, this is just one story that could go off in 10 different directions, and you don't want to commit to something, so you just write every single direction that the show could go off in, and just throw in time travel just to make it more confusing.
保健所にチャッピー探しに行くの。保健所の人の胃の中も調べなきゃ。じゃあどうすればよかったの？知らない人みたいな顔で私のこと見てたお父さん。どうすればよかったの？
So if this is the continuation of the timeline when Shizuka goes to see her dad, then how did Azuma have the happy camera? Because the happy camera was used as the weapon to take Marina out. And I thought that under the bridge, it seemed like Shizuka attacked Takopi. Can Takopi die? I don't know. I thought that Shizuka stabbed Takopi with a piece of glass or something.
大人なんていないのに。
ママが帰ってこなくなった時はどうすればよかった？ノートがなくなったらどうすればよかったの？臭いって言われてもどこが臭いの？ママ教えてくれなかったじゃん。ねえ、授業参観誰も来なくなったらどうすればいいの？チャッピーの声がうるさいってみんなに怒られたらどうしたらいいの？うちの人
This is literally Shizuka acting like Marina, but Shizuka's attacking Takopi instead of Marina attacking Shizuka. And again, goes back to how parents' actions can influence your kids.
誰も私のことなんて見てなかったじゃん。ねえ、全部一体どうすればよかった いつもお話聞かなくてごめんぴ。何もわかろうとしなくてごめんぴ。
This is literally what her parents should be telling Shizuka, not some alien from outer space.
静香ちゃん、僕幸せだっぴ。ハッピーカメラ撮った瞬間に戻ることができるんだっぴ。今は壊れちゃってもう動かないっぴけど、実は思い出してたんだっぴ。一つだけ。僕だから君にしてあげられること。僕のハッピー力。
待って、
これを犠牲にすれば
待って、
もう一度だけカメラが使えること。
待って。
一緒にいられて幸せだったっぴ。でも静香ちゃんが笑えないのはやっぱりダメだっぴから。
笑える。私、笑えるから。
僕の大切な君へ、本当に欲しいものが手に入るように。
This is just basically the timeline, all the timeline problems you can have of what happens when you go back in time, what happens to that timeline of Back to the Future skewing in all different directions of each timeline and seeing yourself back in that timeline and going back in time and knowing certain things and altering the future of changing timelines.
起きて、早くしないと遅刻だっぴよ。静香ちゃん。今日はとってもいい天気。こんな日は学校日和だっぴね。おはよう寄生虫。この子はマリナちゃん。今日も静香ちゃんとお話ししてるっぴ。
Wait, I thought that Takopi couldn't use the camera to go back because Marina wasn't there anymore. That's the whole point of episode 2.
あれ、今日はって
どこだみ
And in this timeline, Marina doesn't have a scar on her left cheek cut by the glass bottle. Whereas in the first timeline that Takopi originally comes from, Marina is scarred there because of the mom.
あいつ下手くそなくせに独り占めして、プレステ4僕もやりたいのに。
PlayStation 4.
うちプレステ4あるの？あるけど。すげえいいな。
今度一緒にやろうよ。
ランキーも早く行こ
Takopi hasn't done a single thing yet.
そう、君はいつも一人だった。そしてそれは君も同じだった。
返してよ、あの頃のパパとママを。私の家族は。
ごめんね。
マリナちゃん。
何それ。
わかんない。なんか適当なやつ。
きっしょ。ゴミカスじゃん。気持ち悪い。ゴミクソ。ゴミクソって感じ。
でも何かしそう。いつもなんかついてきそう。
それでさ、ずーっと話しかけてくる。絶対帰んないの。バカなのに。
So they all have their
何もしてくれないのに
memories?
喋ってばっかで。
何泣いてんのお前。キモ。
マリナちゃんこそ。
何なんだよこれ。
わかんないよ。
So the answer is just to not show yourself?
何にもできないけれど、もう一人じゃない君たちがきっと大人になれるように。
Years later?
マリナちゃんのママいつもやばいじゃん。
お前んちよりはマシ。
For me, that was a typical anime. I don't know what the heck happened in the last episode. Typical anime episode. It seemed like Takopi solved their problems by just intervening in all of their lives each time Takopi went back. And for some reason, they all didn't get their memories completely erased from the previous timeline. And in the last timeline, Takopi doesn't even have to show themselves. And somehow they're all connected through the alien Takopi. I can see how this anime is considered good. And I think this, for me, would have done a lot better without the aliens and the time travel. You can easily do something along the lines of dreaming instead. But instead you throw this weird octopus alien in there called Takopi. And what is Takopi's original sin? I'm not really sure. Is that killing Marina? And the whole happy camera thing, didn't really understand that. What's good about this anime is, I think it was episode 4, the director did an amazing job in that episode. And the stories are really heartfelt. I can see how they're interwoven together. Fantastic stories. All 3 stories are basically about family and how adults can affect their kids. And the way that you raise your kids, depending on your environment of being a loving family, rules that you impose on your kids as opposed to having them turn out how you want them to turn out in your own realities, when in actuality the pressures that you put on your kids to act a certain way will influence them in their own daily lives. Yeah, for me, this anime was good, but again, it could do without the time travel. Would I consider it anime of the year? I would have to think about it, but it's definitely could be in contention, but honestly for me, probably not winning. But there are a lot of other animes that tell the same story. And I guess what's good about this is that it's only 6 episodes, so it does give that same story in a short amount of time. Yeah, that's just my opinions on this anime. Hey viewers, this is me from the future. I have gave it some thought about watching Takopi's Original Sin, and I was actually doing some edits on episode 5. And I'm starting to understand the show a little bit more, I think, than when I originally watched it. And the thing about timeline loop shows and time travel shows, in my opinion, I think you need to watch it a few times to really understand what is happening. And I think a lot happened in episode 5 that was really confusing me at the time. And I think I understand it a little bit better now. The show I think that does time travel really well is Steins Gate. I have not seen Steins Gate 0, but the original Steins Gate does a really fantastic job of time travel, and I think that show is going to be hard to beat in my opinion. I have not watched it in quite a while, but I do remember that that was a fantastic show, and how they did time travel was really amazing. So I'm wondering now, if I go back and watch Steins Gate, how I would think about that show now. But we're talking about Takopi's Original Sin, and going back to episode 5, some things that I feel like I missed was that so what happened was that Takopi's original first time to Earth was with Marina, and it seemed to be in a future timeline after 4th grade, because when the girls were walking by, they said that Shizuka tried to take her life, but the rope broke. And so this is sometime after 4th grade, and I'm wondering if Marina's mom then, after not getting along with the dad, broke the bottle, started getting on medications, and attacked Marina, which gave her the scar. And also the scene that I didn't quite understand was when Marina's mom was attacking Shizuka towards the end. I thought that the mom was attacking Marina, when in fact she was blaming herself internally, and it seemed like what actually happened was that she realized that she was doing something wrong and then took her own life. That was what my interpretation of the story was, and so that was when Happy decided to go back and try to fix the timeline, and Marina, after Happy left, then took her own life. So the second time that Takopi comes, then Takopi finds Shizuka, but Takopi forgets what happened in the last timeline, even though when Takopi was talking to Takopi's mom, Takopi ran away and didn't get their memories erased, when in fact Takopi actually forgot. And after all that happened, Takopi is somehow back again in the future after 4th grade and was then talking to Azuma, which is why Azuma recognizes Takopi. And in the 6th episode, it seems like Takopi just, I think I got that right, where Takopi just didn't interfere, and the memories of Takopi somehow triggered in Shizuka and Marina's mind, and they got along as well as they could have. So that was my interpretation of Takopi's original sin. I still have trouble with timeline shows, and timeline shows still, I think, bother me. But the idea of the stories of these 3 separate lives and how adults influence the lives still remain. Tell me what you think in the comments below. And thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye.